Hey there, horror movie tea sippers.
The following podcast episode will contain spoilers for the movie we are about to review. If you have not seen the movie and do not wish to have anything ruined prematurely, please do not continue to watch or listen until you have seen the movie.
And welcome to the Horror Movie Tea Podcast. Today, we are covering The Crow. We covered the original Crow. It hasn't been that long ago. Don't remember when it came out, but we covered it.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. But today, we are going over the one that came out last year, 2024, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, the new one. But before we go into the review, let's grab our cups and talk about tea. So,
last year, this is going to come out in 2026.
Oh, yes. Well, anyways.
So,
yeah.
2 years.
Yep. I am drinking the traditional medicinals turmeric tea. And it's got turmeric, so.
It's a favorite of yours. Yep. I am drinking Twinings Pure Peppermint, and that just has peppermint, so.
Fair enough. Simple.
We are women of simple needs today.
Apparently. But for our tea sippers out there, brew yourself a cup of tea, sit back, relax, and we hope you enjoy the review. So, for the summary, Eric Draven and Shelley Webster are murdered after being targeted by a violent criminal underworld. Eric is resurrected by a supernatural force and hunts down those responsible, uncovering the truth behind Shelley's death along the way. His mission ends with him confronting the power behind the violence and seeking justice for what was taken from them. So, it's a Crow. But, okay. So, for entertainment, you know, the Crow is a very beloved cult classic, and it was very risky for them to do this, especially with, you know, the tragic story behind the scenes. But honestly, they took some risks that I felt really paid off and very much separated itself from the original movie. Like, in my mind, this movie is different enough that the original Crow and this version are essentially two different movies. Like, yes, it has the same base storyline, but the vibe of the original is like a revenge film. Like, you know, revenge for love and the tragedy of it and all of that happened. But this one feels more like a haunting, tragic, like love story. It's just like, I don't know, it's just different vibes to me. So while I think that the original Crow is slightly higher for me, this one, I definitely am going to watch it again. But it is, I have to be in a particular mood because it is, I don't know how, but anyways, okay, I give it a 7.75. And like, initially, when they reveal that the villain is like taking souls and kind of damning them to hell and stuff, I did not exactly know how to feel about it. Honestly, my initial reaction was like, oh man, like they're messing up the story. But like whenever I watched the whole movie through, trying to watch it from a non-judgmental lens, I actually think that because they tied so much of his motivation and the sacrifices that he made to save her, I feel like it ended up complementing the changes they made to the villain. where, whenever, like, she was doomed to hell. And so he, like, I know that at some point they mentioned, like, him, like, exchanging his soul for hers. But either way, it's like the it became much more of a movie, not so much about revenge. It became more of a, well, like I said before, like a tragic love story. But it definitely, I still feel like it keeps the gothic vibes to an extent, but it definitely feels more modernized and not quite as, like, it's still a dark film. Like, especially, I thought it was appropriate for them to change how they died for this film. I don't know. It just felt, like I said, it felt like it was still trying to separate itself enough from the original, where they're trying to still respect the original source material and just be like, this is our version. But I mean, the way that they died was pretty horrific either way. And I don't know. It's just, this is what happens when I don't. This is what happens when I go off the cuff. But the bottom line is, if I had to choose one movie to exist, I would still choose the original. But I feel like this one was not only respectful to the original material and then also the behind the scenes tragedy, and it separates itself enough that I can watch either movie and feel like I'm enjoying them as separate experiences. Like, it's very different than, like, I know, throwing out another, but it's like the It franchise or whatever, where it's like, some people are hardcore for the original, while some people like really like the new ones. But it's like this one, I feel like somehow toes the line even closer to where it's like they are just like, they don't even have to be compared because they are different enough. I don't know. But anyways, I I feel like this one is worth watching as long as you go into it trying to not compare it to the original. Now, if you have seen the original, though, I mean, you'll see that there are quite a bit of differences in tones with, like, Eric, and then the villain, and I don't know. It almost feels like, now I've never read the I think The Crow is based off of a comic book.
I think so.
So I don't know if they went to, like, the comic book and was pulling more material from that, and that's why it feels so different, or if they really did spin it in their own way. This is just like my raw, like, reaction to the movie without, like, doing digging about, like, what the original source material was. But it did feel a bit,
had time.
yeah, it did feel a lot more like a anti-hero movie
Oh yeah, for sure.
than the other one did. Like, this one definitely gave me, like, Venom, like, dark, superhero movie type of vibes. But yeah. So anyways, either way, I'm wrapping up. This movie has different vibes than the original. I feel like they can be considered separate films, but I can of course I can understand why someone would prefer the original. I prefer the original slightly more, but I still am going to come back to this one whenever the vibe hits right.
I much prefer the original, personally. Don't call it The Crow when
the crow has absolutely nothing to do with it. That's all I'm saying. Like, the bird had nothing to do with the story. Whenever he went back, 90% of the time they pushed him into water. The bird had nothing to do with it. That's what was throwing me off for a majority of the movie. Also, it took like half the movie for the crow to crow. Like, before he and the girl were dead, and he was told he could come back to try to right some wrongs. A little over half, I think it was. So I was honestly sitting there, and I know they were trying to build up a basis for their relationship and show the bond between them and all, but honestly, I didn't feel that strong of a bond.
Yeah, it did have the curse that a lot of remakes are having nowadays, where it's like, oh, we have to have a lot of backstory before we actually start the movie.
And honestly, you didn't need it. We didn't really need it. I feel like in this case especially, it kind of hindered it, if anything.
Yeah.
For a lot of the first part of the movie, I'm like, why do we care? Why do we care? Because I really just didn't. I didn't. I did think it was actually kind of interesting how the bad guy was using that weird power to whisper in people's ear and make them do things that they normally wouldn't have done.
Mm-hmm.
And in that way, I guess, damn them in exchange for him getting to live longer. That part was interesting. And I liked that part, actually. That made it a little bit better and drew me into the story a bit more. It was weird and unexpected, but I liked that move. It was definitely a risky move. The going back and forth between the worlds for Eric was annoying.
It did impact the pacing.
It was annoying.
Yeah.
It broke up the pacing so much. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to keep doing it over and over. I get that they tried to establish in the beginning, like, he had to have zero doubts and not waver and everything. Sorry, my nose is a little stuffy, guys. But it really did kind of draw me out of the experience. And again, every time, or almost every time, he would travel between the worlds, it was like he was falling through water. And the bird didn't come into play at all. He wasn't, like, following the crow. The crow wasn't trying to guide him anywhere. I don't think the bird was attacked at all in this one. So we didn't see if the bird got hurt, if he got hurt, like in the original. Like, the bird was supposed to be the thing that brought him to reality, or the living world, or whatever you want to call it, and guide him through the process of setting the wrong things right. There was none of that in this one. So the story itself is fine. I still would prefer the original, but the story itself is fine. Just don't call it The Crow when it has nothing to do with the goddamn bird.
I mean, I feel like because, The Crow is just, like, representative of, like, death and stuff like that. And they, whenever he comes back, it's like they do have a lot of, they have a lot of crows and, like, stuff like that. But, to your point, like, yeah, it's not as, like, intertwined with his resurrection as the original, but it's still, I don't know. I was like, I understand that, like,
They showed them, they
Yeah.
showed them in that other world, the in-between limbo, purgatory, whatever you want to call it.
mm-hmm.
They showed them a lot there, and they, like, the guy he was talking to made it seem like they're the ones that chose to send him back, like, that first time.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't really do anything otherwise. And they really only talk about the crows that one time. That's it. I don't remember them mentioning the crows ever again after that.
Well, like the last time, like the very last time that he like comes back and he's got like the makeup and stuff on, like whenever he's like about to go back to the world, they bring up the crows again. But yeah,
It's like in passing, though.
yeah.
Like, it has almost no bearing on the story. So it's just... it's hard to separate the two for me when you call it The Crow and try to make it be basically the same kind of story, and then don't have the bird factor in at all. So it kind of annoyed me. For the story itself, I give it a 6. It was all right. It was better than most crappy movies that we've seen, but it's definitely not going to be a go-to. And the first part dragged so much. It really took forever to do anything. So, I was bored for like half the movie, to be perfectly honest.
That's totally fair. I don't know. For me, it just like, it almost felt like a gothic, like Shakespearean, like tragedy. And so, and those types of films tend to drag on and be like very like, I don't know, Shakespearean stuff. And so I think that's why I was like, oh, I don't care. Like, I'm just going to vibe to this.
I get it, and it just wasn't really my cup of tea. I didn't really buy their love story all that much, to be frank.
Yeah, I was like, I hate
Together,
that
what, maybe a
movies.
year?
I hate that movies feel like they have to show building the relationship beforehand when the original
Yeah.
did a perfectly decent job showing like flashbacks but
Yes.
even if they didn't do that, like all of us, well, I hope most of us at least have experienced some level of love. And so as long as they're able to have the watcher put themselves in his place and understand like the heartbreak of like, losing someone sooner than you really should have, then that's enough for you to understand their motivation.
Yeah. Well, in this one, it was all... we didn't see a whole bunch of day-to-day mundane stuff. In the original, they showed you cute little moments where she like burned the food and he's like, let's go for a pizza. And saying like, it's fine, let's just go get pizza instead. Or just hanging out, being silly, dancing in the apartment. It was small moments. They didn't show a whole lot of like big grand gesture kind of moments or anything like that. It was the day-to-day kind of stuff that a lot of people forget about, but those are the memories that stick out the most. In this one, it was they were hanging out with random people that we also didn't care about. It was them basically just getting on each other in fun ways all the time. Like,
It's like they're in love, guys.
More about they made it seem more about the lust phase than the comfortable phase where you just love being around each other all the time. And it's not all about like sex or anything like that. Like it's genuinely I like being around this person. I love their personality. I love their smile, how they laugh at little stupid things like that. So
Mhm.
it just seemed almost shallow kind of depth for their relationship. And they trauma bonded over certain things, but I didn't really get the sense of connection from this couple that I did from the original movie.
Mhm. Mhm.
Is what I'm saying. So I didn't feel as invested.
Totally
And they
fair.
spent so much time on it too. It's like less is more for that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, it's like, yeah, it's like they definitely didn't do that as strongly as the original. But even, thinking about, because you got me thinking about like what other movie is good at showing at like small moments. And, speaking of another like superhero type feeling movie, Deadpool, I feel like they do their relationship really well. And they do show those
They
like
do.
small moments. Um,
Yeah. Now
but yeah.
theirs was a lot into the lust phase too, but they also had they felt comfortable enough to mess with each other
Mm-hmm.
and poke fun at each other,
Yeah. It
They
felt
had little
natural.
jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It felt a lot more organic.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
So
I
this one
totally get that.
I didn't really get that sense. The acting was good. It just I feel like the story itself for their relationship wasn't as solid.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
Yeah.
writing for it wasn't as solid.
Yeah.
And that's not their fault. They did what they could with it. That's not the actor's fault.
What did you think about the ending?
Uh it's a little bit unsatisfying just personally. I feel like since the people were kind of tricked into it and almost forcibly traded essentially for the guy's longevity,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like once he was killed, all of them should have been released.
Yeah.
Like all of the ones that he had already traded should have been released. So he shouldn't have had to have traded himself, Eric, for Shelley.
Well, it's like that makes me also wonder, like the people that were also traded. It's like, did they not have loved ones, or did they like what
Well,
happened
they
with
had
them?
I mean, they had loved ones. They just didn't have anyone that died with them and decided to come back and
Yeah.
wreak havoc to set things right.
Yeah, it's like one of the things where it's like, yeah, they got rid of the villain, and there's, one person whose life got set right, but everyone else. But it's like that's honestly kind of plays into the tragedy part, but
Yeah, and now she
yeah.
has to live on knowing that he saved her, but he's dead anyway, and her mom is now dead. So basically, she's just on her own and has to live through it.
Yeah.
So it's honestly kind of a crappy ending, personally.
I mean, either way, she was kind of screwed because it's like either be, eternally
Yeah.
damned and suffer, or come back to life. And then
See, I thought when he was saying trade her for me, he was basically making a trade of she would go to a better place.
That's what I was thinking too
Whatever better
originally.
place you believe in. They weren't exactly specific. I know there was hell and all, but they didn't expressly say heaven. But a better place, and he would just be the one going to hell instead. But they brought
Yeah.
her back, so now she gets to live.
Yeah, honestly, I was not.
Craptastic.
Yeah, I
circumstances.
honestly, that's what I had originally thought that they had meant to. So I was also a little bit surprised with that. But yeah, honestly,
And now she could still end up in hell, depending on her life choices after.
fair.
So it could all be for nothing.
Yeah, honestly, I do kind of like the idea of her just going to heaven to where it's like, yeah, it's still sad that she died, but at least she's not going to
Be at
experience.
peace.
Yeah, she'll be at peace.
But they also don't get to be together. So what was the point of the whole thing?
Well,
I know
because
he wanted to save her. I know.
yeah,
I know. But that's why the ending isn't quite as satisfying too as the original, because in the original they got to be together and both were at peace.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it feels almost unfinished.
No, and that's where like the Shakespearean like tragedy thing, like I really felt that where it's like it's almost like I don't know if you had this strong of feelings around Romeo and Juliet than I did, but in school when we had to especially like the ending, like I hated it because it's like you know what happens, and when you figure out how it happens, it's just so frustrating because you're like, oh, if you had waited just a little bit freaking longer than being dramatic,
Dramatic teenager.
yeah, then you could have freaking been together, but no. And so it's like that like frustrating
That whole play drives me nuts anyway.
it's like the frustrating unsatisfactory ending, but it's like that's the ending is not the point of the story. It's
Everything would have been fine if their families had stopped being so stupid towards each other.
well, and it's just the power. Oh god, the power of their love, but it's the
Drag me with a spoon.
it's
Come on.
the passion and the stuff that happened prior to their ending.
They were together once.
Point is, it's supposed to.
They saw each other across the room. They talked at her balcony, and they got giggitied once.
I know. I'm not saying that Romeo and Juliet is like a great story, but I'm just saying that like it does a good job in demonstrating the passion of human emotions, whether it be for their benefit or their, you know, as a good thing or a bad thing. It's like, for me, it's like a lot of them, like, you know, like even like Hamlet and where it's like, yeah, he gets revenge, but it's like he also dies. And spoiler alert, but anyways, or like Macbeth, it's like with all of those.
If you haven't read it, that's on you.
It's like for all of those, the ending is tragic and you're not really satisfied with the ending, but it's like the journey leading up where you kind of have a hint of what's going to happen, but you just kind of have to like sit back and watch it unravel. And that's very much what I felt with this one. But yeah, to your point though, it would have been nice. Navi keeps trying to put her tail in my tea. I'm like, I need that. And plus he won't like it because it's hot. But anyways, it's like it's really like the demonstration of his love for her and the sacrifices he's willing to make, even though that it's like for him the ending is as good as it could be, but it doesn't truly like right the wrong that happened to them in a way. But anyways, shall we go to realism?
So realism.
Where do you even begin with realism in this movie?
Oh, To be perfectly frank, I just stopped after a little while and just suspended it altogether because no.
I mean, to be fair, like the bag suffocation, as horrific as it was, that was fairly realistic, and I think that's what made it so
It was.
horrific.
I feel like it would have taken a little bit longer.
Yeah, but they did gosh, there's cat hair now. They did pause just long enough to be like uncomfortable. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's like if you really want to go like but also you have to think about like if a person was completely calm when that happened, then yeah, it would probably take a while, but it's like if you're already like hyperventilating and panicking and stuff like that, that's going to take up your time quite a bit, unfortunately.
He also didn't try to rip at the bag.
Weren't they tied up or something? Or they are holding them back or something?
He was grabbing at the bottom of the bag or at the dude's hands.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that scene.
From what I recall, his hands were essentially free. Like I remember him like grabbing at the hands. Grab at the bag. Rip.
Right. Right.
Like,
Yeah, it's like if your hands are free, then that's definitely the best best move. I'm gonna have to rewatch that. I don't remember his hands being free. All right, well
and a lot of the deaths, there were some deaths that were ridiculous as well, but
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
again, I suspended realism for a good while.
Well, it's like I feel like since this one definitely leans a lot more into the anti-hero, like superhero vibe.
And supernatural type.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of also increased the unrealisticness because I mean I remember the original having like some like crazy deaths, but nothing as crazy as this newer one. I don't know. But then they also like up the ante on like him not actually dying, like him being tossed on like a freeway and then being like run over and stuff. It's like, what? Why did you need to do this? It's like, it's like we're just watching him in pain. That's not pleasant. But anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave it a 1 and moved on because
yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Though, okay, that little twist on realism. Well, I guess we already talked about it. I don't want to beat a dead horse. So, okay. I was going to twist it and be like, okay, how realistic is his motivation for...
Yeah, you're right. We already beat that one with a dead.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
We already beat that dead horse.
Never mind. Well,
let's not do it again.
Anything else? Anything else we want to bring up before we wrap this puppy up?
Honestly, this one is one you could skip. It's fine to watch it. It fell really short for me. It fell flat. Personally.
Mm-hmm.
But again, not exactly my cup of tea.
Yeah, I feel like both movies cater to a very specific audience, but the audiences that they're catering to are actually a little bit different. So yeah, it's like, I feel like if you like the slow drawn out, like more like tragic, haunting, like love story or whatever, then the newer one is going to be a little bit up your alley. Like, you know, if you like those like tragic love stories where there is no like great ending, versus the original, which is a lot, it feels darker in tone, even though they're both fairly dark, but it feels darker in tone. And it is a lot more focused on actual revenge. And you feel...
Oh, it's a lot more personal.
Yes. And it's like, especially when there's like moments where people from... Like the little girl that was from his, like, you know, life or whatever. It's like she looks at him and he does seem very like lonely, almost like almost like a ghost or whatever. And it's like with this newer one, the vibe is very different with him, where it's more like I mean, to a degree, it's still revenge, but it's really more like I'm preventing this from happening from anyone else, and I am trying to right the world again by like killing this guy. And so it's like a very different, it feels like a different...
It's a different call to action.
Yeah, it's a different call to action. It's a different like vibe from him. And yeah, but anyway, so hopefully if you haven't watched either one of these movies, that kind of gives you an idea on like which one you might be more interested in. But yeah. Anyways, well, thank you for joining us today. And, you know, since me and Jess were a little bit polarized on this, I would be really interested to hear like the chats and our listeners. I don't know. It's like, I'm so used to calling the chat because of the live streams, but I would be interested to hear other people's take. So, but
these are just our opinions. So,
yeah. And we are always interested to hear our listeners' opinions, because, you know, that's where we can continue the conversation and maybe understand a different perspective. So, like, if you think that this movie was the trash fire, tell us why. But if you'd like to recommend a movie, game, or tea, you can leave us a comment or join our Discord server. And if you'd like to keep up to date with our content, you can find our link tree listed below.
And if you'd like to support the podcast, please subscribe, like, and share our content. We also have a Teespring and PayPal donate button available if you'd like to support us monetarily. And again, you can find all of those sites mentioned linked below. But until the next time, guys, stay safe and stay spoopy. Bye!